Oh my God, stop.
You like the crutch? There you go. Good. 8. Come on. 8, 9, 9, not 10. Time. Dave, last one. 9. 8, 5. You got it. 4. Go. 14. Time. Go. Good. 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 Good.
I'll tell you what I can't fucking wait for is Khamzat versus Strickland. Let's fucking go.
That's really happening?
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
In New Jersey,
Damn.
Joey.
Yeah.
Damn,
That's a motherfucking fight.
That's a
a
Super
great
Bowl
fight.
right there, dude.
Dude, the
great fight.
press conferences,
Bro.
So you know how the UFC makes them do, like Paramount makes them do face-off like 3 times before the fight? They fly in on Tuesday.
Yeah.
They have them face-off with the lights. You can't do that with those.
Imagine the shit
No,
talk
you can't do it.
Strickland
You
is
can't
gonna
do it.
And Paramount, you know, they're in suits. Like, I don't see why not. It's like, well, because they're going to kill each other.
Yeah, you can't do that.
He called him a terrorist. We can't have
You called him
this.
a goat fucker.
Yeah, we can't, we can't have it.
Damn.
Can't have it.
Bro,
I love
how
Strickland.
good did he look against Fluffy?
Before that fight, I'm like, man, Strickland will probably get fucked up by Khamzat. Then the shape I saw him in, I was like, motherfucker, he
Tremendous.
looks great.
Well, in terms of words, yeah, I'm not too worried about that. Khamzat's in, but his physical presence.
Yeah, and that too, and that too.
Short temper like that.
And that
something
too.
could explode, and that's it.
Yeah, and that too is like Chimaev might like you know Sean's going to say some crazy wild stuff, and then he's going to leave it at that, and he's going to wait for the fight. But you just don't know what Chimaev and his people might do if they're like truly offended, or what he might say or do if they're truly offended.
Yeah. Is that the right approach for Sean though, right? Like, do you want to try to get Khamzat emotional and angry and maybe fight a little different, or is giving this guy any slice of extra motivation like a terrifying thought and maybe not a good idea?
I don't know if I would go that route. I would just, I would kind of maybe focus on my game and maybe not see if I can't rile this guy up anymore. Because you just, like I said, man, you never know, man. You never know, man. You can't.
Khamzat Chimaev is pushing himself to unprecedented limits as he prepares for what could define his entire career against Sean Strickland. This clash has the MMA world completely captivated, with experts torn between Chimaev's devastating power and supernatural grappling versus Strickland's proven toughness, granite chin, and ability to maintain relentless pressure across 5 grueling rounds. When these elite warriors collide, this won't be just another bout on the card. This will be an all-out war that fans will discuss for decades to come.
Sucks for Curtis, right? I think it was just a bad matchup. Really couldn't get nothing going, no striking going. I am happy that Strickland was in his corner, though, so he could get like a sneak peek of what's going to happen to him against Chimaev. That fight was just announced this week. Sucks for Imavov. You got to feel for him. I thought he earned a title shot. I thought that he was going to get the title shot, but I think the trash talk and the stupidity and the era we live in now, where Strickland talks his way into a title shot, and it's going to get people to want to talk, people to want to view, especially with Chimaev. They're going to go back and forth. The only thing I'm excited for is to see Chimaev smash him and walk through him. I think that's what it's going to be. I think he's going to be able to take him down, control him, and I'm hoping that cut him open a little bit, let him bleed a little bit, and then break him mentally and tap him out. For Mavov, I don't know if he's going to be the backup, if he's going to wait, if he's going to take another fight, but I think after Chimaev wins this one, I think he'll go up to 205, and then I think that'll leave an opening at 185 for a title. So be patient, Mavov.
Joe Rogan's expert panel dissected what makes this matchup so captivating, focusing on the inevitable takedown that Chima will secure against Strickland. The real intrigue emerges afterward. What unfolds once Strickland hits the canvas? His remarkable ability to consistently return to his feet, combined with his endless cardio that intensifies in championship rounds and his unpredictable striking that blindsides opponents, could completely alter the fight's trajectory as it progresses. Meanwhile, though Chimaev possesses knockout power on his feet, the burning question remains whether he'll stick to his dominant wrestling foundation or risk engaging in a striking war against a high-volume pressure fighter who unleashes everything in his arsenal.
And Joe, that the mystery of that fight is Strickland's going to get taken down. That's going to happen. He'll get taken down. But he's so well versed on getting up in his cardio. That third, fourth, and fifth round, if he keeps getting up, defend the submissions, that's when it gets interesting.
He's also so hard to hit. He's so hard to hit. He does so many sneaky things on the feet that people don't see coming.
Keeps coming.
Yep.
Keeps coming.
Yeah, no way Khamzat's gonna fucking stand with him. He's gonna try to take him down. No
Keeps
way.
keeping you.
Yeah.
Khamzat can strike too, though. Did you see the video of
He's no
Khamzat
punk.
striking with
But,
Khalil?
no,
Yeah, he's no
totally.
punk.
But you think that's the best strategy for
No,
Khamzat? No
no.
way.
No, the best
Because
strategy is
Strickland can fucking
drag him to the ground.
He's got great striking. Why would you take a chance?
The only thing that would make sense is if he wanted to make up for the last fight where a lot of people thought it was boring when he won against Strickland.
Because he didn't look for a finish.
Dude,
So
if
if he
he-
just
dude,
comes out and tries
Dude,
to
if he
blast
tries to
Strickland
stand with
out.
Strickland, dude, he's fucked.
But here's why you can try to stand with Strickland, because he's not a knockout artist. Like, he's a volume puncher, like a Nate Diaz. It's a lot of volume. So even if you do stand with him,
Din Thomas explained why this particular matchup generates such tremendous buzz throughout the MMA community, despite mixed expectations about the actual outcome. While some fans anticipate other potential bouts more eagerly, this specific clash stands out because it materialized from nowhere, carrying genuine intrigue that cannot be manufactured. This becomes especially significant with Strickland coming off an exceptionally sharp performance in his recent outing, establishing him as one of the few middleweights who could realistically challenge Chimaev and potentially expose vulnerabilities. This transforms the entire narrative from guaranteed explosive action into unpredictability and incredibly high-stakes tension surrounding every aspect of this encounter.
Great to fight, because some people may say that they don't have high expectations for the fight, but the build will be incredible.
Yeah, in terms of what the fight might actually look like, it's not the best for me of what it actually might look like. I think in terms of what the best fight might look like in all these fights is Ilya Gaethje. But this fight, there's so much involved in it. One, why it interests me the most is because I didn't expect it to happen so soon. It was like you didn't hear from Chimaev. Everybody's talking about how he weighs like 400 pounds. Like you don't know where he's at. And the next thing you know, they're like, yo, Chimaev's fighting Sean Strickland, in a couple months. You're like, what? Like, so it just, to me, it kind of came out of nowhere. And so like, that's one, I didn't expect it. Two, Sean looked so good in his last fight that I believe that he's capable of beating Chimaev. And he might be the only middleweight on the planet right now that's capable of beating Chimaev.
Thomas continued his comprehensive analysis, emphasizing what makes this fight compelling across multiple dimensions. Beyond mere skill and technical prowess, genuine belief and personal animosity exist between these fighters. And he noted that while other division contenders might struggle against Chimaev's unique abilities, Strickland's razor-sharp recent form establishes him as a legitimate threat if he carries that momentum forward. Their shared training history adds another fascinating layer, having worked together in the same gym before this rivalry developed, carrying authentic mutual dislike evident in every interview and interaction. This makes everything feel far less like manufactured promotional hype and much more like a deeply personal confrontation that has been building toward an inevitable explosive conclusion.
If we had Nasruddin, for as great as he is, like, I just didn't, in my head, I couldn't see it happening. But I can see Sean Strickland doing it. Like, he looked sharp as hell in his last fight. He looked amazing in his last fight. If he can carry that over into this fight, he might beat Chimaev. So, like, to me, that's intriguing to me. Also, what's intriguing to me is they have history. And that's partially one of the biggest factors that makes any fight interesting is history between the guys. They have history. They've trained together before, and they don't like each other. And when you consider that they might not like each other, it's probably somewhat real. Like, a lot of guys fabricate fabricate the beef so that they can, sell it, or we're just trying to sell a fight. But you can tell that these guys probably don't really care for each other.
The psychological dangers inherent in this matchup become apparent when considering how Strickland typically pushes boundaries with his provocative words and trash talk, getting under opponents' skin during press conferences and social media exchanges while usually maintaining some level of control. However, Chima represents a completely different presence, far more explosive in his reactions, and significantly more unpredictable in responding to provocation, meaning deliberate verbal attacks could easily backfire catastrophically, transforming this fight into something even more dangerous than anticipated. Thomas questions whether it's intelligent for Strickland to engage in these mind games, or if he'd benefit more from laser focus on executing his technical strategy rather than providing an already intense and motivated opponent like Chimaev with additional fuel and violent motivation.
Well, in terms of words, yeah, I'm not too worried about that, Khamzat saying, but his physical presence.
Yeah, and that too, and that too.
Short temper like that,
and that too
could explode in that sense.
Yeah, and that too is like Chimaev might Sean's going to say some crazy wild stuff, and then he's going to leave it at that, and he's going to wait for the fight. But you just don't know what Chimaev and his people might do if they're like truly offended,
right?
Or what he might say or do if they're truly offended.
Yeah, is that the right approach for Sean though, right? Like, do you want to try to get Khamzat emotional and angry and maybe fight a little different, or is giving this guy any slice of extra motivation like a terrifying thought and maybe not a good idea?
I don't know if I would go that route. I would just, I would kind of maybe focus on my game and maybe not see if I can't rile this guy up anymore. Because you just, like I said, man, you never know, man. You never know, man. You can't.
Bilal Muhammad unleashed his unfiltered opinion on this matchup, expressing genuine satisfaction that Strickland cornered Curtis Blades during his fight because it provided a perfect preview of exactly what Chimaev will accomplish against Strickland when they finally meet. He criticized the trash talk approach, suggesting it elevated Strickland's ranking more than his actual fighting abilities, while making abundantly clear his expectation that Chimaev will completely dominate from opening bell to final horn, stalking Strickland like a predator hunting prey, breaking him mentally before destroying him physically, and ultimately forcing a submission in what he envisions as a completely one-sided beatdown, lacking any competitive elements. If this prediction materializes as Bilal anticipates, this could transform from an expected competitive clash into an absolute statement performance that reshapes the entire middleweight landscape and puts every contender on notice.
Sucks for Curtis, right? I think it was just a bad matchup. Really couldn't get nothing going, no striking going. I am happy that Strickland was in his corner though, so he could get like a sneak peek of what's gonna happen to him against Chimaev. That fight was just announced this week. Sucks for Imavov. You got to feel for him. I thought he earned a title shot. I thought that he was going to get the title shot. But I think the trash talk and the stupidity and the era we live in now, where Strickland talks his way into a title shot, and it's going to get people to want to talk, people to want to view, especially with Chimaev. They're going to go back and forth. The only thing I'm excited for is to see Chimaev smash him and walk through him. I think that's what it's going to be. I think he's going to be able to take him down, control him, and I'm hoping that cut him open a little bit, let him bleed a little bit, and then break him mentally and tap him out. For Mavov, I don't know if he's going to be the backup, if he's going to wait, if he's going to take another fight, but I think after Chimaev wins this one, I think he'll go up to 205. And then I think that'll leave an opening at 185 for a title, so be patient, Mavov.
Chael Sonnen contributed his characteristically insightful perspective on who can genuinely challenge Chima at this career stage, emphasizing that before rankings, resumes, or credentials matter whatsoever, a fighter must first possess the specific skill set required to neutralize his absolutely dominant takedowns that have demolished every opponent thus far. Sonnen believes Strickland fits this description perfectly and possesses the necessary tools, calling him the ideal opponent to truly test Chimaev's complete arsenal, while noting that the 6-1 betting odds favoring Chimaev seem surprisingly steep given how this matchup could realistically unfold. If Strickland successfully executes his game plan defending those takedowns while implementing his pressure striking, Sonnen suggests we might finally witness Chimaev stretched to his absolute limits and forced to display his entire skill set across 5 complete rounds, which represents exactly what the entire MMA community hopes to witness.
The big question when you're fighting Chimaev, like before we get into resumes, who's ranked, who should be there, when we come down to what's the guy that possesses the skill set where we can close our eyes and make believe that Chimaev could get beat, we have to first be able to convince ourselves that that guy possesses superior takedown defense to the excellent offense takedown abilities of Chimaev. I think Strickland's that guy. I think they found the right guy.
Conversely, Michael MVP Page praised Chimaev's ferocity and fighting approach, labeling him a genuine next-level athlete who proves exceptionally difficult for anyone in the division to challenge, while simultaneously questioning Strickland's place in this particular matchup and suggesting someone like Nassourdine Imavov might have provided a more suitable and intriguing test of Chimaev's abilities. MVP made his assessment crystal clear. Chimaev isn't merely another contender climbing rankings and hoping for title opportunities. He operates in a completely different league, functioning on an elevated level beyond most fighters, and anyone entering that cage against him faces an absolutely brutal examination of willpower, skill, and determination. This upcoming fight could very well demonstrate just how truly unstoppable Chimaev has become, potentially solidifying his status as the most dangerous fighter throughout the entire middleweight division.
Just from the outside looking in, I feel like Imavov deserved the fight, and that's the fight we should be talking about right now. But I've had the pleasure of seeing Chimaev in the gym, you know, working very closely with him. And that guy is a monster. Yeah, he's not normal. And it's I always say it's nice to see someone that is, you know, high, like is very high level in a slightly different area. And I'm watching him, and it was beautiful to watch. Beautiful to watch. So yeah, it's seeing it up close in person. Obviously seeing it in the fights, but seeing it up close in person, he's going to be a tough person to beat.
Kamaru Usman, the former welterweight champion and one of MMA's most respected analytical voices, offered a thought-provoking perspective that adds another dimension to this ongoing discussion, suggesting that while Chimaev possesses exceptional natural talent and incredible abilities, we haven't yet witnessed him deliver a truly complete performance requiring him to showcase every aspect of his fighting arsenal. According to Usman's expert evaluation, Strickland might actually become the first opponent to successfully challenge Chimaev's dominant wrestling and grappling strengths, potentially forcing him to reveal the full breadth of his skills, including his striking, his cardio in later championship rounds, and his ability to make mid-fight adjustments. This transforms the matchup into a genuine, legitimate examination of Chimaev's complete skill set and fighting intelligence, and if Strickland somehow pushes him beyond his comfort zone into uncharted deep waters, we could finally discover just how versatile and dangerous Chimaev truly becomes when everything hangs in the balance, creating one of the most intriguing and unpredictable matchups in recent memory.
Khamzat Chimaev is one of those guys to where we know is a very, very special guy. He has the ability to do these great things, but at the same time, we're still waiting for a complete performance, because it's almost like he uses one skill, and he's so dominant that he's able to still dominate and win these fights, to where we're still kind of waiting for that one guy that's going to stop that one dominant thing that he does. And then we see all of his arsenal. And I've said that. I've said Khamzat is talented enough to where he has all the weapons. It just is needing that guy, that dance partner, to make him have to use him and bring him all out. And I think this could be the fight right here. If Sean Strickland is able to stop Khamzat Chimaev from taking him down, then Khamzat has to stand with him. And that's where you're potentially going to see all of Khamzat's arsenal, the striking, the kicks, the punches, all of that. That's where you get to see it. Or maybe Sean Strickland takes over and really dominates this fight and breaks it wide open.
Building on Eastman's excellent observation about testing Chimaev's full skill arsenal, Henry Cejudo, the double champion and fight analyst, contributed his perspective that this bout could legitimately swing either direction and shouldn't be considered a predetermined outcome, highlighting Chimaev's explosive opening sequences capable of ending fights within literal seconds through his aggressive rushes and powerful grappling, but stressing that if Strickland successfully defends the initial takedown attempts and adapts his strategy as the fight develops, he might completely neutralize that early threat. Cejudo referenced Dricus du Plessis as an example, who struggled tremendously against Chimaev in their grappling exchanges, emphasizing that this fight's real story will be whether Strickland can remain composed under the intense pressure Chimaev brings and force him to display every element of his game across 5 complete rounds, transforming this matchup into a high-stakes tactical showdown of adjustments and fight IQ. Adding another perspective to this fascinating discussion, Aljamain Sterling offered a detailed analysis suggesting the fight could very well reach the judges' scorecards, believing Chimaev will likely win by controlling Strickland on the ground for 5 complete rounds, since on the feet Strickland's proven durability and tactical striking ability could neutralize Chimaev's combinations and prevent the knockout. According to Sterling's breakdown, victory's key will be Chimaev's ability to close distance quickly and efficiently while avoiding damage and imposing his superior grappling control, turning this matchup into a battle of strategy, patience, and positional dominance rather than a quick spectacular finish. And if executed perfectly according to this game plan, it could become an absolute masterclass in ground control that aspiring fighters will study for years. Sterling expanded his analysis, stating Chimaev is obviously the clear favorite for reasons apparent to anyone who has watched his fights. Yet he finds it interesting that Strickland's eagerness to accept this fight on short notice suggests he believes he can exploit something specific in Chimaev's approach, pointing out that with Chimaev's current training situation and new coaching staff at the All-Stars gym in Sweden, this matchup appears significantly more challenging for Strickland than it might have seemed previously when Khamzat was less refined. The stage is absolutely set for an electrifying showdown that could steal the entire show as Chimaev and Strickland prepare to clash in what could legitimately become one of the most intriguing and unpredictable fights of the entire year. With experts completely divided, some backing Chimaev's explosive grappling and relentless pressure that has destroyed everyone in his path, while others believe strongly in Strickland's durability, technical striking, and underrated takedown defense that could shift momentum and shock the world.